Good afternoon, sir. And Mr. Reddy, welcome to TACMA, 11 TACMA die mold exhibition. Sir, how do you see the industry and today's inauguration? Mr. Minister speaking on Make in India. How do you see this industry growing, sir?
Of course, Make in India had been there since Modi took over about 4 years back, or perhaps he launched it 3 years back. So, yes, there's a lot of push now being given by this government, this new government, a BJP government. But unless the OEMs, they decide to get the things done in India, this cannot happen. See, tooling is something which again, as it was said in the morning, that this is a mother industry, this is a tool making, it's not a continuous production. To make a continuous production, you need a tool, and the tools are made by tool makers. So the OEM should decide to get the tool done within India. So that's how the tool making can grow in India. So, and it's, of course, there are a lot of challenges, like it's a very capital intensive industry. The skill oriented industry, there are many challenges. The raw material inputs, not even one steel is made in India. So whereas in competing country like China, there are many steels are made. So by having all these challenges, still of course industry is growing here at the rate of approximately 12%, which is more than the GDP or GDP of the country and the GDP growth of the capital goods equipment. So, but all this is again hinges on the OEM deciding that yes, I'll get all my molds done here. He's selling his product in India and he imports his molds from abroad, so which he should not do. He's not selling his products abroad. So he's selling his products here. He should decide that I will get all the inputs, all the tools required within India, so then only this industry can grow.
Coming to the growth of the industry for the tools, sir, what do you think, where we, especially the Indian tooling industry, where do they lack, and what is the various responses that you have been getting since you are in this industry? Have you got any suggestion that you can suggest to the tooling industry, sir?
No, that's what. You again asked about the challenges. As I said, the capital intensive, the working capital is very expensive. The term loans are very expensive. Abroad, you get the money at 1% or 2% or sometimes 0%. Whereas here you have to shell out about 12%, 13 or 14%. So how can you be competitive? We cannot be competitive. Suggestions to the industry is, okay, you need to keep upgrading your technology, your skill levels, so that you are on par with the today's development or the latest developments, etc., which can put you on par with your competitors. If you are trying to use some old technology or low-end technologies, cheap technologies, you cannot compete with your competitors.
Since coming to the skill, the Make in India, do you think, sir, we are lacking in skills? And if there is lacking in skills, what suggestions you have to do you suggest to the government that we need to do to increase the skills in the manufacturing industry in India, sir?
Yeah, skilling now, in fact, after this new government, there's a lot of emphasis given to skilling India. But again, as I said, it's kind of chicken and egg story. The institutes, a lot of institutes have to come up, but the institutes having dedicated teaching staff. Today, we have lots of institutes like CPETs and NTTFs and other institutes, but they lack good faculty today. Nobody wants to take up the faculty either because of the salaries or the treatment met out to them, etc. all that. So if we can increase the salaries to teaching faculty, if we can increase the infrastructure within the center so that the students can learn practically, the skill levels can go up. So they have to invest, and they should have kind of wholehearted approach, not just, okay, we allocated some 10 crores or 20 crores, that will not help. So there has to be monitoring, there has to be a measurement, so, and tweaking, fine tuning.
You being the former president for TACMA, sir, any suggestion for this tooling industry, those exhibitors who are gathered here, seeing the, as you mentioned, molds are now imported. What suggestion you want to give to these 11 die mold exhibitors here gathered here today, sir?
Just now, as I said, you have to keep upgrading your technology. You cannot be having some old technology and want to compete with some people who are having new technologies. So definitely you'll be incompetitive. And with these outdated technologies, you cannot compete. So otherwise, the other option was for TACMA to help these tool makers in some way is that come up with the center which we are planning at Chakan, TAGMA Center of Excellence and Training. So there they are going to house the expensive machines, rare machines which cannot be afforded by small tool makers, so that the small tool makers can come there and then use this high precision and rare equipment, by which their tool or mold level can go up and they can be more competitive and they can participate in the biddings. Today some of the small tool makers may not be participating in the bidding because they don't have that equipment. Once this equipment comes into existence, they can also be participating in such biddings, and then maybe certain imports can also be stopped because there's somebody existing here.
Now coming to Mr. Kannan from Mold Master. Sir, today the exhibition has started and you are just here as a visitor. Sir, since you have been in this exhibition moving around, I presume last 2 or 3 hours, do you see some of the changes from last exhibition and this exhibition?
First of all, thanks to the organizing committee of TAGMA for keeping the trend around on the die and mold exhibitions. I would say that the industry is growing, and there is no doubt that the tooling industry, whatever was lacking around in the tooling industry earlier, I see that every tool maker is growing. But the effort is purely relating to the individual entrepreneurs rather than the side efforts which is coming in from lot of the government bodies or whatever it is. So I think the support from the government, it shouldn't be just only on the words, but it has to be with actions. And my point would be that people can grow with their own learnings to only certain extent, but beyond that they need support, a real support, financially, technically, and in terms of directions. It's very important that they have to make sure that they grow based on the support from mainly, as Mr. Reddy said, the OEMs, OES and tier 1s are very important. If they are given a direction that you have to procure the mold from here, we will support the mold makers and we will support them commercially, we will support them technically, and that way you will see that this exhibition will probably enhance into multifolds, no doubt about it. Absolutely, I think I see a good quality of tools being built by many small tool makers, but they are struggling. I have to also tell you, the payment terms is one thing that people have to really work on it. I keep speaking about it, I don't feel ashamed about it, but I think we Indians should make sure that we pay our Indian tool makers better and faster than what we pay outside India. And I think I can confidently say this in front of anywhere I want, because we are taking advantage of our own tool makers and shooting our own legs of growth. That's important for us. Okay, so asking your exhibitions, it is growing. I see a quality tools coming up. Absolutely, I keep saying there's no way that people does not lack anything in knowledge. Okay, yes, we need support from the government bodies, not just on words and papers.
Expecting the support, sir, just to understand, you are in this industry, Mr. Kannan, from so long. What kind of support you expect from the government for the Make in India concept to come up, as well as the manufacturing to take up in India, sir?
Again, if you say manufacturing industry, the government should clearly specify tooling becomes a backbone for any manufacturing industry. I think tooling has to be very clearly specified, and I strongly tell you that there has to be tax incentives provided for the tooling industries. If there is a tax rebates, tax incentives provided by the government for mold makers, tool makers, die castings, anything which is going to enhance the lifestyle of the people and the country, I think that is where they have to provide all the subsidies, not on the mass productions, but I see that it's the other way. There are a lot of subsidies given on the mass production side rather than on the foundational knowledge-based side, where absolutely that is where people have to focus on and provide that advantages. And of course, technical skills. We have institutes, and government also should promote a lot of technical institute with a lot of supports provided to them and encourage the people, and the salary levels of these technical people also should be increased. They can only increase when they get the benefit from the government in terms of the subsidies of either tax rebates, income tax reductions, or technology incentives, whatever could be given around.
Mr. Reddy, thank you for being with modernplastics.tv. Mr. Kannan, thank you for being modernplastics.tv. This is Anthony George signing off modernplastics.tv. Thank you.